This is really more of a rant than a coherent video, but I'm going to call this So What? Excuse the rubbing. You know, a lot of people, when they go into their victim blaming mode, they always want to say, oh, well, you know, you only do X, Y, Z because something bad happened to you. So that's why you're doing what you're doing now, or you're saying what you're doing now, you're making that argument. And therefore, because somebody might be speaking from some pain, that makes their argument invalid. That's ridiculous. An argument is true or false based on whether it's true or false. It doesn't matter if somebody's speaking from some pain. If they're speaking from some pain, but they still arrive at a true conclusion and they can back up with truth, then it's true. Some examples are, oh, well, you only criticize women because you've been hurt. Or you only criticize men because you've been hurt. But with martial arts, oh, those guys are just people who were beat up before, and that's why they're in martial arts. I see a lot of people apply that to cops. Oh, look at those cops. Well, they're just a bunch of wimps that got picked on in high school. That's why they're cops, so we shouldn't respect them. That is a ridiculous assertion. Something is true or false based on whether or not it is true or false. It's like you used to have people say, oh, they hate grappling because they must have gotten beaten up by a grappler. That's why they say grappling isn't good for self-defense, or vice versa. No, the reason why some people are down on grappling for self-defense is because if you've ever lived in a city, or a really bad part of town, you know it's not a good idea for you to try to grapple on the ground if you can help it, because you can end up rolling on some glass or someplace where somebody is urinated or defecated and they get some kind of infection. You know, or if you're on the ground, you can end up being kicked by a bystander. That's why they're against grappling for self-defense. Plus the fact that if the person has a knife, you can't see it. Heck, sometimes you can't see it until it's coming at you. I know a guy, or knew a guy, haven't seen him in decades. He got stabbed 6 times, didn't even know he got stabbed. And he cuffed the perp. Didn't know he got stabbed until somebody told him you're bleeding. And just imagine if they were grappling. Probably be missing some internal organs right now. That's why people are against grappling sometimes. Or, you know, some people are anti-striking. I have some reservations about striking all the time because there are situations where you can't strike someone, but you still need to subdue them for self-defense. Like how police officers aren't allowed to beat you 5 times or 8 times upside the head with a club. They're supposed to try to subdue you. Okay? So true or false, back to the original point, is based on true or false. Okay? One criticism lobbed at me a few times. Not very often. Oh, well, you're only doing that. You only teach that martial arts stuff because, oh, you're a violent person, which I'm not. Or you were picked on in the past, which I was. But so what? So what if I become violent? Not violent. Listen to me. Good grief. No, become violent will be bad. So what if I become passionate about martial arts because I was picked on in the past? Taking a negative and then spinning it into a positive to help other people and teach them how to protect themselves from similar bad situations. What if I got robbed, so I sell home security systems? Would that make me a bad person? What about women that, you know, have been raped and they become rape activists, anti-rape activists, or, you know, they counsel people who've been raped? What about people who were on drugs, who counsel addicts, former addicts? Former addict counsels current addicts to help them get through addiction. It may actually remind the counselor who's a former addict about why they don't need to regress and help them get their mind off their own pain. And then both people benefit. You take that energy that happened from a bad thing and you convert that energy into something positive. Why is that a bad thing? Why? Why do you criticize people for that? So that's something this isn't really too much to the martial artists, I guess. It's more as the martial naysayers. To you martial naysayers, or just you naysayers in general, who want to criticize people who are taking a negative and turning it into a positive, I say to you, so what?